everybody. I'm Frank Jablonski from Acronis, and I'm here with Eric O'Neill.
Hi, Frank. I'm Eric O'Neill. I am the founding partner of the Georgetown Group, an investigative services and security company in Washington, D.C., and also the national security strategist for Carbon Black.
Hey, Eric. Well, thank you for joining me here. I've got a couple of questions that I'd like to go through with you. The first one is, what are the top 3 recommendations you would make to consumers to protect their data from security threats?
So security threats are certainly coming after consumers and not just enterprise. We tend to think of it as a problem for business and government. Because we see so many hacks and attacks that go after offices like the Office of Personnel Management and the DNC and different government agencies and businesses like Sony. But the fact of the matter is that most of the malware is affecting the grandparents and the parents and just the person with an email account and a computer. And so if that regular consumer wants to protect themselves, they have to do a couple of things. There's 3 good steps. One is technology. You have to have some sort of solution that gives you the preventive defense that you need. Something that is going to search out the malware, something that's going to stop it before it infects you. 2, you have to have good cyber hygiene. If you don't have that, if you're not smart about how you access things online, if you're not being careful with your social media, and you're not clicking those links that you get in those emails that don't really come from your friend, but they're spear phishing attacks, then you're going to get hit by something like ransomware and lose all your data unless you pay some attacker sitting somewhere else in the world. And then finally, you need to have a good backup, because even the best solutions sometimes miss just because the attackers are that good. And so you have to have a good backup that's efficient and quick, that's going to protect you and let you recover your data in case you get attacked.
Given the rapid spread of malware today, do you see a shift to the necessity of malware-resistant backup solutions moving forward?
Absolutely. It's not good enough just to have a backup, because you would have to be backing up every second. Malware is so pervasive in the industry right now that you don't know when you're going to get hit. And in 2016, for example, just last year, ransomware, one of the most popular malware attacks, was a $1 billion crime.
Wow.
It was obviously the most prolific cyber attack of last year. And all points suggest that it's going to be even bigger in 2017 because it works. So in light of that, you have to be extremely careful, and you have to take every step necessary to protect yourself.
So should backup and security solutions vendors be combining forces to better protect consumers?
I think it's a great way of going about it, because one, you have to have that preventative approach. You can't just have a backup. If you just have a backup, then you're going to be restoring your backup all the time, because you're going to be getting hit and it's going to be exhausting. But if you combine the two, then you're hedging your bet. Right? You've got that insurance. You prevent the attack, but if the attack gets through, you've got a good backup so you can recover rapidly. And you don't have that downtime and that gut-wrenching data loss that will ruin your year.
From your experience, consumers, how important these things are and motivate them to actually take action to protect their data and their families.
I think that 2017 is going to be a year all about cybersecurity. It is one of the more newsworthy things that has happened in 2016. Not just because of Russian hacking, but because of the prolific ransomware and malware attacks that have plagued us over the last year. So I would hope that consumers don't really have to be convinced. But I think that if they're not convinced now, give it a couple months. They're certainly going to be convinced when people they know, not just businesses that don't touch them, people they know are attacked by malware and lose data and money.
And becomes much more familiar to them that way.
It'll become more familiar. It'll become not just a buzzword, but an actual term, but an actual fear. And we don't want to sell things based on fear. I think it's more about education. It's about protecting yourself and protecting the things that matter to you most. And more, that is data.
So are there any government regulations that will be coming out that you think of that will dramatically impact yours?
I think there will be, certainly within the next 3 to 5 years. One of the problems is the federal government hasn't gotten its act together in cybersecurity. We are at a deficit. We have pretty much failed for the last number of security. Part of that is we have a decentralized security system. If you just look at our critical infrastructure, it's owned by a lot of private companies. So how does the federal government regulate? But based on the high-profile attacks that have just happened, I think that there will be moves to try to solve the problem, and what we do in the US is regulate in order to solve problems. And
Right.
that can work and that can't work. And I don't want to get into politics here, but what I can say, if we just want to break it down and look at ransomware, for example, is that states are moving to deal with it. And one of the ways they're dealing with it is by creating a new crime. Previously, in order to go after someone who committed a ransomware attack, you had to use extortion, which is harder to prove. A new crime is on the books in certain states. California is the newest, where if you launch a ransomware attack, then you can be criminally attacked. And so people will think twice before they launch them.
What are the generational differences in people's approaches to data security and privacy that will impact how vendors should approach consumer solutions?
Well, Frank, I think you've got to look at generations, because different generations, especially the newest ones, consume media in different ways than some of us older folks.
Right.
If you look at younger people, they are far more engaged in social media. They're putting way more of themselves out there. And that's all free information for hackers and spies and criminals to use to craft targeted attacks that attack them. If you craft that attack that attacks them, they're more likely to trust that spear phishing email and click on the link that loads the malware, that leads to the ransomware and gets them locked. And then they're coming to mom and dad for the money to pay it, right?
Right.
You do have to know who your target audience is and consider the fact that the biggest purveyors of technology, especially social media, who may be the more careless, are the more highly targeted.
That makes sense. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much.